Hello and welcome back to the Sheva Secrets, Nach series. In today's video, we are going to learn how to read a Sheva after Tenu'ah Gedolot versus Tenu'ah Ketanot. Let's dive in. Recall in our last video, we learned about two groups of vowels, long vowels or Tenu'ah Gedolot, and short vowels, or Tenu'ah Ketanot. Today we're going to take that information and use it to learn rule number 8. Rule number 8 is that if you have a Sheva that follows a Tenu'ah Gedolah, or a long vowel, that is a Sheva Nach. It's pronounced. And if you have a Sheva that follows a Tenu'ah Ketanah, or a small vowel, that is a Sheva Nach. And so one way you can think about this is that when you have a long vowel, the next letter, if it has a Sheva underneath it, it's pronounced as a Sheva Na. And so what you'll have to do is you'll have to look at the Sheva and see the letter right before it. Does it have a long vowel, a Tenu'ah Gedolah, or a Tenu'ah Ketanah? If the letter before the letter with the Sheva, the letter right before has a Tenu'ah Gedolah, it is a Sheva Na. If it has a Tenu'ah Ketanah, it's a Sheva Nach. So here's the checklist. First, you're going to find where is the Sheva in the word. Number two is you're going to confirm it's in the middle, because if it's at the beginning of the word, well, it's not following a Tenu'ah Gedolah or a Tenu'ah Ketanah. So you're going to see where it is. Number three is you're going to look at the vowel in the letter right before it and ask yourself, is that a Tenu'ah Gedolah or a Tenu'ah Ketanah? And then you're going to apply the rule. If the letter before it has a Tenu'ah Gedolah, this Sheva is a Sheva Na. If the letter before it has a Tenu'ah Ketanah, this Sheva is a Sheva Nach. Let's look at some examples. Okay, example number one. There's a name. The name is written on the board. It's one of the three sons of Levi. That name, someone might think is Gershon. But you see, that Gimel has the Tzereh. Tzereh is a Tenu'ah Gedolah. The Resh that has a Sheva underneath it, that Resh has a Sheva Na. This name is pronounced Gereshon. That's three syllables. The name is not Gershon. The name is Gereshon. Now, I know someone whose name is Gershon, and your name can be whatever your name is. You could be called Gershon. But this word, the way you read this word is Gereshon. Why? Well, I look, there's a Resh, it has a Sheva in the middle of the word. I look at the letter before it, the letter before it has a Tenu'ah Gedolah. Therefore, this is a Sheva Na. Example number two is another name, the name Yitzchak. Why is Yitzchak read with a Sheva Nach? Well, I see there's a tzadi with a Sheva in the middle of the word. I have to look at the letter before it. There's a chirik. It's a chirik chaser. Recall that there's two types of chiriks. One is chirik maleh with the yud following it. One is a chirik chaser. There's no yud following it. This does not have a yud following it. Therefore, it's a chirik chaser. It's a Tenu'ah Ketanah. And since it's a Tenu'ah Ketanah, it is read as a Sheva Nach. Let's look at example number three. Example number three has two Shevas in the middle of the word. How do we read it? Well, okay, let's take one at a time. Look at the Lamed. Underneath the Lamed, this word is going to be read as Tal Mi De Cha, which means your student. Underneath the Lamed, you have a Sheva in the middle of a word. I have to look at the letter before it. Underneath the Tav, there's a Patach. Patach is a Tenu'ah Ketanah. Therefore, this is a Sheva Nach, and it's read as Tal. Now let's look at the Dalid. There's a Sheva underneath the Dalid. Is that a Tenu'ah Gedolah? The letter before it, does it have a Tenu'ah Gedolah or a Tenu'ah Ketanah? Well, the letter before it is just a Yud, right? No. That Yud is actually really part of the vowel of the Mem. This is a Chirik Maleh. When you have a Chirik, that dot, and it's followed by a Yud, that Yud is part of the vowel. So what vowel is immediately preceding the Dalid? It's a chirik maleh, a full chirik, which is a Tenu'ah Gedolah. Therefore, this dalet is going to be read with a Sheva Na. The word is read tal mi decha. Since this is a complex rule, I want to give some more examples. Okay, let's talk about the tefillah of Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshev Vetecha. So let's look at those first two words. Ashrei Yosheveh. Example number 4 is the word Ashrei. There's a shin in the middle of the word. It has a sheva. How do I pronounce it? Well, I have to look at the letter right before it. There is an aleph with a patach. Is a patach a Tenu'ah Gedolah or a Tenu'ah Ketanah? It's a Tenu'ah Ketanah. Since it's a Tenu'ah Ketanah, what does that mean for the shin? The sheva underneath it is a sheva Nach. So there, because it's preceded with a Tenu'ah Ketanah, it's read as Ashrei. That's in contrast with example number 5. This word, look at the shin. There's a sheva underneath it. How do I pronounce it? Well, look at the letter right before it. The letter right before it is what? It's the yud. The yud has a cholam, which is that vav. That vav is not really a letter. That's really a vowel. And because it's a cholam, whether it's a cholam maleh or a cholam chaser, is a tenu'ah gedolah. If it's a tenu'ah gedolah, what does that mean for the sheva that's underneath the shin? It's a sheva na. Therefore, this word is yosheveh. Okay? So, Ashrei yosheveh betecha. If someone says Ashrei yoshveh betecha, and they read the word as yoshveh, what are they doing? What they're doing is they're making the shin underneath making the sheva underneath the shin a sheva nach. But that goes against this rule. This rule tells us that if it's preceded by a Tenu'ah Gedolah, it's a sheva na. Ashrei yosheveh betecha. And example number 6 is a word in the Ashrei that we say. Once again, there are 2 shevas in this word, one underneath the lamed, one underneath the taf. Let's see how we read it. Underneath the lamed, I see a sheva in the middle of the word. How do I pronounce it? I have to look at the letter before. The letter before that mem has a patach. Patach is a Tenu'ah Ketanah. Therefore, this is a sheva nach. It's read as mal. Okay, what about the tav? The tav has a sheva underneath it in the middle of the word. How do I pronounce it? I have to look at the previous letter. The previous letter is a chaf. The chaf has a shuruk, which is the u, the vav with the u sound. Therefore, because that is a shuruk, it's a shuruk. Therefore, it's a tenu'ah gedolah. The sheva underneath the tav is a sheva na. It's pronounced, and it's pronounced as te. Therefore, this word is malchutecha. 4 syllables. Malchutecha. Why? As we explained, you have to look at the letter before it, whether it has a Tenu'ah Gedolah or a Tenu'ah Ketanah. Okay, so now it's your turn to try. I want you to look at these words. They look awfully similar, but there's one small difference. I want you to pause the video and try to read these 2 words for yourself. Okay, hopefully you got a chance to pause. Here on the screen, we have almost identical words. What's the difference? The difference is underneath that second letter, in example 1, that's a chirik chaser, which means it's just a dot underneath. And the example 2 is a chirik maleh. It's a dot followed by a yud. And that difference is going to be the difference between whether it's a shevana or a shvanach underneath the resh. Example number 1 is the word vayir'u. Va-yir-u. Why? That's a shvanach. Va-yir-u. Why is the resh shvanach? The letter before it, the yud, has a chirik chaser, and that is a tenu'ah ketanah. Therefore, the resh has a shvanach. Va-yir-u. Example number 2, the word is vayire'u. 4 syllables. Vayire'u. That resh has a shevana. Why? Because the letter before it, the yud, has a chirik maleh. It's a full chirik. Therefore, this word is, that chirik maleh is a tenu'ah gedolah, which means the resh has a shevana, and the word is read as vayire'u. Happens to be, it changes the meaning of the word, whether you pronounce the word as vayir'u or vayire'u. Vayir'u means they saw. Vayire'u means they feared. The same letters. Just one vowel being different changes the meaning. If someone is supposed to read the word as vayireu and they read it as vayiru, or vice versa, you're changing the meaning of the word. Vayiru, they saw. Vayireu, they feared. And it all comes down to the letter before the resh, whether it has a shvanah or a shvanach. Okay, so this rule bank is getting long. Let's do a quick review. The first rule is, at the beginning of the word, if there's a sheva, it's a shvanah. Rule number 2, if you have a letter with a dagesh in it, and the sheva underneath it is a shvanah. Rule number 3, if you have 2 shevas in a row, 2 letters with shevas, the first one is a shvanach, silent, second one is a shvanah, it's pronounced. Rule number 4 is that if you have a sheva at the end of the word, is a shvanach. And even if you have 2 shevas at the end of the word, it's a shvanach. Rule number 5 is if you have twin letters, which means you have one letter that comes up twice, and there's a sheva underneath the first one, like hallelujah, it's pronounced as a shvanah. Rule number 6, a sheva under one of the 4 silent letters, the aleph, he, chet, or ayin, that's pronounced as a shvanach. Rule number 7 is that normally a sheva in the middle of the word is a shvanach. And I called that last time as the default rule because there are exceptions. What are the exceptions? Now that you know rule number 8, you know the exception. If it's after a Tenu'ah Gedolah, it's not a shvanach, it's a shvanah. And if it's after a Tenu'ah Ketanah, it's a shvanach. So really, rules 7 and 8 go hand in hand. If a sheva is in the middle of the word, it's going to depend on what is the vowel immediately preceding that sheva. If it is a Tenu'ah Gedolah, actually it's a shvanah, which is what rule 8 is telling us. Only if it's following a Tenu'ah Ketanah is it a shvanach, which is what we said is the default rule in rule number 7. It's really going to depend based on rule number 8. In our next video, we're going to be introduced to another sign that helps us to determine whether something is a shvanah or shvanach, and that's called the ta'amim. We're going to show you the ta'amim mikra. The ta'amim teach us how to emphasize and pronounce a word correctly, and one of the things that it helps us with is helping to identify if a sheva is a shvanah or a shvanach. We'll learn more about that next time in what I call the sandwich rule. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.